Oh,
Good
good
morning,
morning,
Kathy.
Australia. Uh, Say again.
I said, good morning, Kathy.
Well, it's not morning for me, dear. It's in the
Well,
afternoon, but it's morning for you. So,
it
good
is.
morning,
Good
Australia.
afternoon, Texas.
Yes, good afternoon. So, here we are again with another Iridology Around the World. And you know what? I'm going to spin the globe. It's
And it's
spinning.
it's it's actually dark where it lands, and it's landing in Mother England.
Oh, the motherland. I love that. I love that. So, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes, so we have a lovely guest that was highly recommended to us, Andrew Mason. Andrew,
Come on down, Andrew.
here we are.
And there he
Hello, good to
is.
see you.
Awesome.
Hi there.
That is fantastic. I love being someplace else.
And I love the glasses. It's very, I think the three of us should be, me, you, and Daniela Larita should be in a room together.
Oh, the light. Oh, the bounce off those little heads. No, those are cool glasses. I love them. They have a little Harry Potter flair to them. And you know me and
They are
Harry.
actually Harry Potter glasses. They are the proper Warwick glasses, I think. I think they're actually sold as Harry Potter glasses. But
Wow.
I didn't buy them because of Harry Potter. I am not a Harry Potter fan. So
I have to go check those out. You know I will. Well, we're glad that you can give us a moment of your time today and do a little interview with us and a Q&A. And we'd like to know more about you. So can you tell us how long you've been an iridologist?
well, I started getting interested in the eye probably late 90s, 98, 99. Just through an introduction to a friend of mine who was a homeopath. So he was quite an interesting character. He was into lots of alternative medicines, sort of really bizarre stuff, you know, this kind of electronic, like electrocrystal and radionics and all this kind of stuff. It was just a little bit off the wall, but an interesting character. And we got talking about, you know, just diagnosing from the face, like Chinese medicine, stuff like that. And I was telling him about I'd heard somebody said that the ear was a bit like an inverted fetus, you know, so you could read the ear like the body, and then you could diagnose from it. And then he got talking about the eye, and I got quite interested in that. And I said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, you can see all of these things are in the iris as well." And then it got really interesting. He said, "And you can even sort of start looking at somebody's personality or the type of person they might be just by looking at the eye." So I got really, really interested in that. And then I think I just probably, like we've all done, started buying books. You know, obviously there was no internet back in those days, or not accessible for me anyway. So I was hunting around old bookshops, finding odd books and just getting into it like that. And I thought, well, I'd actually like to study this a bit more carefully. So there's quite, well, at that time there was 2 or 3 schools teaching physical iridology in the UK. And I joined one of those and got qualified probably early 2000s. And yeah, so I mean, yes, I am. I'm not really practicing. I'm kind of more writing, researching at the moment. But it's something that I've dipped in and out of as I've gone along. I've never lost interest in it. It is a fascinating subject. So, and obviously with the internet now, it's kind of unbelievable. You know, I mean, speaking to you guys, and you're doing your thing in your country, so it's you feel much more connected, and you can get a handle on what's going on much more easy.
Yay. And I just love that we're in 3 really polar opposite parts of the world. It's incredible.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. So Andrew, you're big on behavioral iridology. What inspired you to get into that?
I think, like I said, I was kind of very interested in the personality side of it. You know, I just wanted to explore what could be really done with that. And obviously, you know, back in the day, there wasn't too much going on in that side. Obviously, you had the Rayard method, and so I was involved with that work. I had a little look at that and attended some courses, and just obviously read the book, got interested in that work, which is great work, and it was very pioneering for its time. And then I think really from the fire of Rayard came sort of phoenix of behavioral, and that was like an offshoot of that system with its own kind of flavor. Very much, I feel like a sort of a pared down, simpler to understand kind of. I just found it much more able to assimilate that system. It was easier to learn for me, and I knew its creator quite well. You know, he gave me some instruction in it, so I got more into that side of it, I think. And probably that's the side I feel more drawn to. I'm more, when I'm looking at an eye, the first thing that's going through my mind is more the behavioral side rather than the physical side. But of course, you know, these days I don't really see the two as being separate. They're one and the same. So, you know, I'm not really drawing any distinction between the two systems anymore.
Interesting. It's really, really
That
great.
is, it is interesting. I love to hear it. I love to hear how people got into it. So can you tell us maybe one of your favorite signs to see in the eye, or a favorite type of eye?
I mean, everything there's just so unique, isn't it? That just every eye is unique. Every eye tells a story. I suppose you've got to sort of draw the distinction between when you're walking up to the person before you even get that chance to look deeply, just the color, you know. So in the behavioral system, you know, there's one of, it's not a primary identifier, but it's a modifying factor is eye color. So we use like five iris colors, basic colors. So we have blue, gray, green, amber, and brown. And there are traits associated with physical traits and behavioral traits associated with each of those colors. So that's the first thing, you kind of, when you cross a room and you see the iris color and you're starting to get a feel. But I suppose if you're talking about a landmark, probably something, it would have to be the A&W, because it's so outstanding and you can do so much work with it, and it's so interesting as well. You know, even by its absence, or it's gigantic, or it's really small, or it's wiggly and all over the place, or it's really regular. It just tells you so much. It's like a core, it's like the hub of the wheel, isn't it, really?
Yes.
So yeah, I'd probably say that those two, depending on how you, because I mean, obviously, if you meet somebody in a room, you just can't go straight up and start looking in their eye, but you can see the color, and you can see the sort of shape of the eye and how open the person is, you know, how open their eyes are, how are they kind of closed, are they kind of very open and allowing. So all these things are good, you know, good places to start.
Yeah.
I love that, the hub of the wheel.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
We're gonna use that.
Yeah.
I love the color, because the color you can do anytime. Like, you don't need your torch, you don't need your camera, and you know, you can be talking to someone at a party and you can, you know, tell about their behavioral or personality because of their color. I love that.
Yeah, it's a modifier. It's a modifier. So you can add that on top of more information, but it's kind of like a good, you know, there are some sort of, yeah, there are some general rules with it, you know, like the green eye is a bit of the enigma. They're going to be the hardest to get to know. You know, the blue is going to be quite defensive to start with, but then very open and expressive afterwards. So there's all qualities associated with those iris colors, which is a nice start. It's another layer on the cake. So
Awesome.
That is awesome. I really love to hear that. Well, Andrew, we play kind of a little game. We have you pick a number between 1 and 36, and we have a board.
1 and 36. Oh,
and we're going to pick a question for you.
Let's do number 18.
Number 18. Let's take a look at number 18. I have no idea what it's going to be.
Some real super complex question that's going to make me look like an idiot.
All right. It just happens to be behavioral iridology. I don't know how this works, but it works. Since I have
asking me about that, I know nothing about BI.
I have markings in both eyes, lacuna, relating to self-reliance. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, there's nothing wrong with any iris position. I never look at anything as good or bad. So you've got to look at the benefits of that position. So very often these people will be very independent, very self-reliant, but generally you'll find that it's usually later in life, usually around their kind of 40s, that they have to start relying on somebody. And that's the hardest lesson that they've really got to try and, you know, hand over power and let other people in. So, you know, it could have been used as a blocking agent before then, you know, I'll do that, I'm better than you, or downing everybody else. And, you know, but I mean, they're very entrepreneurial, can be good, you know, very good business people, gift of the gab, lots of chit chat, you know, get your foot in the door. There are lots of benefits to these positions. You know, I never see them in terms of, is it good or bad? They're just there, and it's there to help you. It'll help you grow. And if you explain that to the person, quite often they can come on in leaps and bounds. I can really see the positive side of that. And you'll see them use that energy for its maximum potential. I never see anything as bad in the eye, even if you see, you know, sometimes they'll say these big tarry spots, and oh, it's really terrible, and it could be this. But I always see it, they're kind of, like signal flares. You know, they've just gone up. They're always giving you a chance to correct and come back on track and rebalance. So every sign's a good sign, really.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, I agree with that.
So well put. I love
It
that
is.
answer.
Isn't that great?
Because I also don't really see anything in the iris as negative. Like, it always can be positive in, and the thing what we need to do is shine the light on the positives, and about, finding our balance. Like we often, all of us get out of balance, but it's about getting back on the road. Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, in fact, actually, it's quite interesting. If you look where that position is, if you would sort of superimpose, I mean, I know it's got nothing to do with the behavioral iridology, but if you look at it from a sort of astrological point of view, it's like the ninth house. It's a bit like that area around the ninth. So in the system I use of astrology, it's the Indian system, the Asian Indian. They call that Dharma. So Dharma means what you were here to do. It's your assigned role. And quite often what happens is that people stray away from their Dharma and take the wrong path. They're always represented with a chance to correct that, to go back to the right path again. So no matter how far you stray from the path, the opportunity will come back up to go the right way again. And you'll find when you're going the right way, things happen quickly and sort of bang, 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 you move on in leaps and bounds. So I see that sort of portion of the iris as having to do with that. That sort of intermediate is kind of a little bit like that sort of ninth house energy for me. Of course, you can flip the chart either way, but that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, wow.
Very well said. I love that. Chris, do you have anything else you want to add while we have Andrew?
I was just going to say that every position I think is positive, and I mean, being independent's great, but we also, I mean, that lesson is also to allow help.
Yes.
And that's when we can find true balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, this has been great, guys. I have loved this. And Andrew, it's a pleasure to finally meet you.
And thank you for doing this. I think it's a really great thing you're doing. I mean, I think it's great if you connect everybody together like this. You'll really kind of make it feel more like a community. People will pile on in again. I mean, it's just self-generating, isn't it? So it's a great thing when you're taking the time.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate that. And that's our mission, is to get iridology out there. It doesn't matter if it's behavioral iridology, emotional iridology, spiritual iridology, physical iridology. It's iridology. It's a community. It's a family. We need to share it, and we need to explain to people what it really is. And that's the mission that Chris and I have. And so we thank you for being a part of that.
No problem. Thank you for asking me to speak.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, thanks a lot. And
good night, good afternoon, good morning.
Good night, good afternoon.
Good morning again, Australia. And good night, London.
Yes.